Sukuna has lost the battle of the strongest after being completely humiliated by Gojo. Now, with slowed healing, no Mahoraga, and an inability to do a lick of damage without amplification, it has been made obvious that Gojo has solidified himself as the strongest sorcerer to ever live. Or so Kusakabe would have you believe. It is understandable that people think that the fight is over considering the overwhelming evidence and dire circumstances for Sukuna. But despite all that, I don't think this is it for the King of Curses. But before we dive into the Battle of the Strongest, let's take a look at these three sequences to collect the evidence I'll use to argue that Sukuna isn't done yet. During the Shibuya incident, Sukuna asks why isn't Jogo expanding his domain against him, to which Jogo replies that he knows he'll lose in a battle of domains because of what happened previously when Jogo tried to kill Gojo. Sukuna says that Jogo is speaking like a true loser. Later on at the end of this fight, Sukuna tells Jogo that humans flocking together, curses flocking together, comparing themselves to those around them, leads to weakness and stunts their growth. You should have burnt everything you desired to a cinder without thinking to reach the heights of Satoru Gojo and not worry about the future or identity. But you lacked the hunger to take hold of those desires. Let's also take note of the aggression and the ferocity that Sukuna displays throughout this encounter. Keeping both these points in mind, let's move into the Sendai colony during the Culling Games. Uro speaks to Yuta about those who are able to transcend beyond merely strong are those with an overwhelming sense of self and a complete disregard for others. She refers to Sukuna as a natural disaster, a force of nature that decimates without discrimination. Moving into the Yorozu fight. In this fight, we get a first proper look into Sukuna's ideology. He equates defeat with death. If he is defeated, then he may as well not be alive. After Sukuna destroys Yorozu's domain, he speaks about how sorcerers with curse techniques having poor curse energy efficiency often end up relying on a single aspect of their arsenal, aka being a one-trick pony. In Yorozu's case, when push comes to shove, she always falls back on her liquid metal or her insect arm. Keeping all of those in mind, let's dive into why Sukuna has seemingly lost the battle of the strongest. Ever since the start of this fight, Sukuna has been on the back foot. His aggression and ferocity have been oddly absent in the most important fight he's been in since a millennium. Ever since the domain clashes started, Sukuna turned off his sure hit on himself to bear the burden of adaptation, and he transferred all the damage to Megumi's soul. He was using Mahoraga specifically as a win condition against Gojo, and because of that he was constantly on the defensive as he needed both the time and the damage to adapt to the limitless. Sukuna relied on Mahoraga like his one-trick pony to even give himself the opportunity at killing Gojo. And when Gojo adapted to Mahoraga's antics, Sukuna had no answer for Gojo's retaliation. Sukuna knows he'll have to fight Gojo's students right after he kills/defeats Gojo, so Sukuna is consciously using only the known parts of his arsenal. That is the reason why Sukuna hasn't hit a single black flash during this entire fight. He isn't giving it his all in this fight, and his focus isn't in the right place. Sukuna is probably the most experienced and skilled when it comes to Jujutsu sorcery as an art form. He is using the 10 shadows 1000 times better than any of the previous users ever did. Sukuna can use both domain expansion and domain amplification at the same time. He learned how to restore his curse technique and how to become a cursed object after just experiencing both of them once. The Malevolent Shrine has been described as an artist painting a masterpiece not on canvas but on air, a truly divine technique. Sukuna is a Jujutsu sorcerer through and through. He will use any means necessary to win and progress. He is a true con artist. All of this to say that Sukuna's plan to kill Gojo did not have any holes in it, and he would have succeeded too if only he wasn't fighting his equal. Gojo is an absolute monster, and he came into this fight prepared to give more than his best at every moment. Gojo has been aggressive and focused throughout this entire showdown. He has been using his entire arsenal with laser precision. He is not pulling any punches. He is innovating his way out of dire situations, like when he restored his curse technique through reverse curse technique, using a combo of simple domain and falling blossom emotion to survive the onslaught of Malevolent Shrine, he used his experience in the prison realm to pave the way for him to win the domain clash against Sukuna and shutting down his ability to use domain expansion with the damage done to him by Unlimited Void. Gojo's determination and his focus led him to hit a Black Flash and knocking out the King of Curses. The entire momentum of the fight turned in favor of Sukuna when Mahoraga adapted to the Limitless and Lapse Blue, making it possible to finally damage Gojo without a domain or domain amplification. Sukuna summoned another Shikigami as he continued to press Gojo. The possibility of losing did cross Gojo's mind, but instead of letting it bog him down or make him reckless, Gojo channeled that energy into his focus. He continued to hit 3 more black flashes, which restored his cursed energy output enough where he could use red properly. And with the blessings of the sparks of black, Gojo absolutely cooked Sukuna by outmaneuvering him and forming a hollow purple independent of himself and nuking Shinjuku. In the eyes of the spectators, Sukuna is now in checkmate, a position where no possible move can get him out. But the spectators fail to account that they are watching a battle between honored ones. Everyone was worried about Gojo seemingly having no way out when he was checkmated in the first domain clash and when Mahoraga adapted to Infinity. Now that the shoe is on the other foot, and Sukuna is in a dire situation where he is backed into a corner with no obvious solution. This is the perfect moment for Sukuna to stop holding back and burn everything he desires to cinders without thinking, to reach the heights of Gojo Satoru and not worry about the future or identity. This battle isn't over yet. Is Sukuna actually cooked, or will we finally see the calamity that pushed the world into oblivion 1,000 years ago? There are several different avenues that Gege can take this. I like some significantly more than others, but I don't think I can ever predict what that devious Cyclops cat is up to, so I'll just trust the process and let Gege cook. Thanks for watching this video till the end. I truly appreciate everyone who makes it to here. I've really come to be annoyed by the JJK fanbase because of the whole Agenda Kaizen thing during this entire fight, but that is a topic for another video. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and consider subscribing if you like this sort of content. Till then, Trampling Beast signing off.